Puff Daddy, baby.
Welcome back to the Sports Ranter. Thank you to our hosts, Jacob, Nick, and Ben. Joining us here live, 6 p.m. after a wild divisional round, okay? And so if you had feelings about the Kansas City Chiefs, about them not wanting to win the Super Bowl this year, if you saw last week's game with the Texans, you definitely don't want the Chiefs to win now. The whole world's been talking about it. Guys, just kind of the way it went down. Obviously, we won't talk about the Patrick Mahomes penalties or the non-penalties. And not only that, just that crazy safety at the end of the game that made absolutely no sense, that ended up covering the line. There's a lot of weird things that are happening, and we've been talking about it forever here on the Sports Ranter. So Jake, like I said, we'll go into the details of the game itself, but we got to talk about the elephant in the room, or the gorilla in the room. This Pat Mahomes situation. How do you feel about what you saw, and what do you think the league should do next year about this?
There's a lot to say. I've been critical of this, and kind of, but I've kind of had this, this opinion for a while that the NFL, for whatever reason it may be, I think we can all kind of come up with our own reasons why, is ushering Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs into this generation of like Tom Brady and the Patriots and this dynasty and all that. It reached a level this weekend that can no longer just be ignored or pushed to the side. We've been seeing it over and over again, these crucial penalties in times in the game where it just are favoring the Chiefs to a point where it's like you already have to go in playing the Chiefs perfect. I'm not questioning their greatness. I'm not questioning Patrick Mahomes' greatness. What I'm questioning is they have been the benefactor of so many of these calls, so many of these calls that are just mind-boggling, and it's you cannot deny anymore that it is helping usher them all the way through, into this spotlight, into the Super Bowl. We saw it again this week, but you now have sports commentators, Rich Eisen, guys on these podcasts that have finally said, like, this is getting ridiculous. This is enough. It's not just this group of haters anymore, oh, you don't like the Chiefs and you guys are just haters. This is now becoming the opinion of, not the opinion, but like this is becoming fact. Like we're seeing it. Everybody's seeing it. It's not just guys sitting around doing podcasts anymore. Like, this is being seen by everybody. When you have an entire team, remember, like if you go out post game and you criticize the officiating, like there's big fines for that. The NFL fines you for that. You had an entire team come in and say we knew that it was going to be us against the Chiefs and the refs. Like, this is not a good look for the NFL. This is not a good look for the NFL. This is not a good look. If you're trying to you're killing your fan base here. Your game is losing credibility. Your product is losing credibility. And say what you will, but I looked all the last few days looking at clip after clip of these phantom calls. Super Bowl with the Eagles 2 years ago. Juju Smith, Patrick Mahomes overthrows it, uncatchable ball into the end zone, and they call some phantom pass interference call. Like it's become a point where I feel like it's hurting the product on the field, and we're seeing it every single week. Well, I read a stat like since Patrick Mahomes got into the league, like the Chiefs have actually had more penalties than this and more penalties. It's not the amount of penalties and all that. I watched a lot of Chiefs games during the regular season, and a lot of them were officiated fine. The Chiefs are a great team. They're going to find ways to win games. It's these games that matter. It's these games that teams push the Chiefs to the limit, and you get these ridiculous phantom calls. It's the false starts that are not called, and it's just gotten to a point now where the NFL has to address it, and your product is now very quickly going to lose credibility because this is known and seen by a lot more than just fans sitting at home.
Oh,
Commentators, Troy Aikman, man, lost his shit at during the game. Um, it's just it needs to be addressed, and
let's think of it as like me being. I'm going to put myself in Roger Goodell's shoes in the board of the NFL, right? They have to be hearing all these things, right?
there's another aspect of it.
You
NFL
know
is
they hear this stuff, but it's like if you're sitting there and you're thinking about it. Well, Jake just said it. Well, the Chiefs now have 70 to 34% more fan base and more millions of viewers because of Taylor Swift. I know the
there's
league hates us, but we're banking right now all kinds of money, and we're gonna ride this three-peat still. We'll fix it next year, right? They've been doing that. Oh, we'll address it next year. We'll address it next year. But they even said it last week. We were watching it versus the Chiefs 1 week when, or I forget what play it was, where if you're they should flag them for a late slide, right? This was 2 weeks ago, right? If you're running around like a fucking weirdo, and then you slide, right? You should penalize the quarterback, not the defensive players. We covered this 2 weeks ago, and then we saw
especially
that
if the
play,
quarterback's not hit.
and then we see Travis or Patrick Mahomes do that nonsense. It's like, where is the penalty for the late? We just talked about that last week, so the league sees it, the league knows it, but what are they going to do, Nick? What's going
At
on?
the end of the day, it's a product. It's about money, and yes, there is another aspect to it. The Chiefs being in the spotlight and being where they're at, with every outside factor, Taylor Swift and all that. Yeah, it's putting money in all the owners' pockets, and at the end of the day, that's who owns NFL, and that's what they care about. Sorry, Nick, go for it.
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, that's what they care about. But I mean, I it's so frustrating because I think a couple years ago you could have maybe argued it. I don't think it's arguable anymore. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate for the game. It sucks for the game. What I'm sick and tired, my rant is I'm so sick and tired of Taylor Lewan or whatever the hell he is. The worst fucking tackle and sorry, excuse my language, I don't cuss much, but the worst tackle in football who doesn't even know how to line up, and they won't call it. They won't call it. He doesn't line up correctly according to the rules. They show it. You could go watch any tape, any single tape. He lines up farther than any other lineman that lines up. They don't call it. He false starts literally on probably 80% of the plays every single time. They called it once on him. They called it once. I'll give them credit. They called it once. But that's what they do. They'll just call it once on some random, no meaning drive.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, we called him once. We're not going to get him on again. And he'll do it the very next play. He'll do it again. He'll start leaning. He'll do it again. They don't call it. And that's what frustrates me so bad. Not only that, I have other stats. I had to research it because I'm sick of them because they're in my division, so I know even more. Since entering the league, Patrick Mahomes has more interceptions called back than anybody in the league. Okay? So you can say what you want. It's like, oh, well, yeah. You think that's a random stat? Like, that's not just a random stat. He throws more picks that get called back, right? They get more first downs on penalties than anybody else, which is annoying as well. The one that a lot of people don't even realize, but they called a hold on Stingley, right? An all-pro corner called a hold on DeAndre Hopkins that was barely even touched, and he was sacked on that play. It was a play no one's talking about. They're all talking about the two hits. But again, there's other plays like that people also don't realize. Of course, Patrick Mahomes gets sacked. It's a momentum swing, this and that. What happens? It's a hold on the play that Patrick Mahomes is going to the left. DeAndre's lined up on the right. It's his little in and out. He barely has a hand on him. Hold, had nothing to do with the play. Didn't even influence it. The ball wasn't even thrown that way. Patrick Mahomes gets sacked running the opposite way. Oh, automatic first down, right? Let's just keep going. So it is affecting the product, and I will go with Jake on this, and this is my last point. Why I feel it's affecting the product. One, once you have Troy Aikman announcers and everybody starts saying it, because I remember the Patriots were the same way, but honestly, I might have a bad memory here. I don't remember too many announcers getting upset, with this type of favoritism. I don't. It might, and maybe someone can call my BS and find some videos. I just don't remember this much blatant obvious. Obviously, there's the tuck rule. There's a lot of other things. Patriots O lineman never held either. They don't hold and all that stuff. Of course, the Patriots had a little bit of favoritism, but it wasn't called out by announcers so much. It's almost every game now. Troy Aikman's going berserk. Like I don't remember seeing that for Tom Brady. And on the flip side of it, why it's affecting the NFL in my mind, okay, the Chiefs are on the brink of a three-peat, correct?
Yep.
Cool. No one's debating they're not a good team. Like Jake said, I'm not going to go into that. They're good. They didn't win the game because of the penalties. It's just the advantage gets tilted. That's what's upset. They're about to three-peat. Now, let me ask any of you guys. We watch football our entire life, correct? Our entire life. They're about to do something that no team has ever done, okay? We've seen history be made before. Does this team at all resemble a team that should be in history as something that no other team has ever done?
I don't feel like they've done anything special at all.
No.
That's my point. Like if the Cowboys in the 90s would have three-peated, we would have been like, yeah, they had behemoths on the O-line. Like you could tell they were just man for man, better than the other team. They would just come around, push you around, whatever. Go back. I mean, okay, the Chiefs defense is good. That's why they're winning. They ain't the 2000 Ravens.
Right.
They ain't even the 2010 Ravens.
Right.
They're not this dominant team where I'm like, okay, yes, they get some calls, but you know what? They're just so good at what? Okay, Patrick Mahomes is a little bit clutch. Like, what are they like? I hate that they're gonna three-peat possibly, and they're not that good of a team. That's what I mean. I'm not saying they're not great. They're not that good of a team. I think the Patriots teams were better than they are. You know what I mean? That's what's frustrating, that they're gonna three-peat and they're not that good. They're gonna make history. They're not that good.
And that's what I mean. There's something else behind it. Drew, I'm gonna pass it to you right now. But there's something behind it. It's like standing there with the NFL. It's like the NFL needs this three-peat. You know, it's like you can see it.
But they don't. That's what I hate.
Exactly. But it's like greed or whatever. But it's like they want it so bad for the Chiefs too, and you can see it. But Drew, please let us know what you thought, and also cover too what happened, because we were already upset with the penalties and the game was over. And then you want to take a freaking safety that only takes seconds off the clock? Like, it made zero sense. So please, if you can, let us know what you think about that whole process.
I mean, nobody has it like I have it. You know what I mean? I lost 2 Super Bowls to Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? So it's like, I get your guys' hatred towards Patrick Mahomes, but it's like, at the end of the day, for me, it's like, dude, I don't let it be known, I guess, as much as you guys. Sorry, my kids are wild. But yeah, dude, Patrick Mahomes, I hate it. I can't stand it. And so, I mean, at least, you know, we got one upset, you know, this week, and it was cool to see the Lions go down. But
no, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. I called it. Yes, it was. It was great. And so,
what other game did you call? Forget.
Well, he also guaranteed Houston, but that's fine.
Yeah, I did. I wanted Houston so bad, bro. But anyways, it's just one of those things where I just don't get it. You know, I don't understand why. What?
Hi.
You want to say hi? Hi. Okay. And so yeah, we're trying to you know, just make football fun, and it just sucks because it's like every single time there's a play that Kelsey's involved in, we know for a fact they're gonna pan up to Taylor Swift. We know, like, it's the nonstop, like, there's just so much hatred built up, I feel like, from everybody, and it sucks to watch it just continue just to every day go right in front of us. I'm gonna head out just because I'm trying to feed these kids dinner, so I'm just gonna.
I need to say a couple more things because I had more on my mind.
I'm gonna put myself on mute, but I'm gonna, as things go on, I'm gonna try to make it better here.
Where I know that no one can argue it. So on the first Will Anderson one, people aren't saying this either. Mahomes flops. It's very subtle, but Mahomes flops. He makes, that's why they called it, because he knows how to turn and fall and flail his helmet back, so it makes it look like it's helmet to helmet. He knows that, and the reason I watched it 100 times, like, dude, Mahomes is smart. We know that. No one's debating debating Mahomes' brilliance. I know he's smart, but what made it so obvious was the other play that everybody is talking about, where he purposely slows down to get contact and then flops big. If that's not obvious to say, hey, I know the refs are gonna give me shit. Like, I don't know what game you're watching. Like, for someone of his caliber to like go down to that level because he didn't used to do this, guys. He didn't used to do that, but he knows and don't even like every single one of the plays he knew. Hey, if I fall down right here, I could get a call.
Right.
I'm just gonna fall down. If I flail my head back, I'm gonna get a call. If I
Right.
slow down and they push me out of bounds, I'm gonna get a call. Like the fact that he knows and he's playing into it is just blatant, and the refs feed into it. And I don't know why. I don't know. Again, conspiracy, not conspiracy, but I don't think you can argue anymore that they just get the benefit of the doubt too much. Too
Yeah,
much.
well,
You're not gonna get every call perfect, but it's too obvious now. It's too obvious.
Well, and like him doing that, I feel like, you look at the first roughing the passer where, defender comes in and doesn't make contact with the head. He doesn't fall on him. He doesn't hit him low. He just runs into him. And they call it. It's like, and I'll move more to the center of being unbiased here. Like, hey, smart on Patrick Mahomes. Like, God, if they're going to call that, then why not, slow up, like I'm running out of bounds and slow up and then have a defender hit me and then flop because I know I'm going to add on another 15 yards. It's taking advantage of a situation that honestly the NFL created. Like there's a lot of quarterbacks that don't get that call. We saw that all weekend long. People put together all these videos of Goff getting hit, Jaden Daniels getting hit, all these quarterbacks taking these shots.
Just the Bills-Raven game.
Yeah.
I mean, Lamar got dragged out of bounds and hit out of bounds. I don't even know how many times in that game.
Right.
And they don't even flinch. So you're right, Jake. It's not even like, yes, Mahomes is smart, but the problem is other QBs can't do it.
Of
That's
course.
what we're fed up. Like other QBs can't do it. So
Of
it's
course.
not that, oh, I'm so smart, I'm taking advantage of the rules. No, I'm so smart, I'm taking advantage of the courtesy that I get, the bias that I get. It's not, I'm going to take advantage of this quarterback rule because if not, Josh Allen would have got 3 personal fouls called on him. Lamar Jackson would have got at least 2 call on him. Jared Goff should have got 1 call on him. All these other quarterbacks would have got him on. And it's
Nick, to add on what you said, the Chiefs, it's like they're not even that good. And it's like, it's going back, like you look at the Patriots dynasty and stuff, and you look at all these games that these close games and this and that. The Chiefs had what 6, 7, 8 games, or whatever, that were decided by 1 score, or whatever. It's never that we never can look back and say like, wow, they had this great drive at the end. We always can look back in those times that mattered, and it's always this penalty, this phantom stupid penalty, this pass interference, or this whatever. And it's never like we can look back, oh, Mahomes had a great drive, so-and-so had a great catch, they had this, they had that. It's always, it's 3rd down or whatever, and then there's a flag that keeps the play going. They're a great team. But when they get chance after chance that everybody else doesn't, it's like, give me a fucking break, man. I'm just tired of seeing it. And
Drew, you want to say something real quick? Are you good?
I think, well, I mean, I will get into, I'm sure we get into other games, but I'm sure Seth's watching. So, I apologize. The Eagles are looking good. This, that, and the other. All right. I'll give you your credit, Seth. But I hope to God they get stomped on fucking again and against the Commanders. But I will give it hats off to Eagles. They're not doing anything very impressive, but they are winning games. And other than Saquon going berserk, it just continues to happen over and over. So maybe they don't need Jalen Hurts. It's just let Saquon rush for 20 times and get 300 yards every fucking game.
Well, real quick before we get into other games, we'll finish it off and we'll move on to the next ones. But I kind of really agree with you, Nick. I've always had respect for Patrick Mahomes. Like, I have respect for him. Like, he really is good. The way he extends plays, that was what? How many years ago? I can't hate on him, right? But I lost respect for Pat Mahomes after this game because it was, like you said, it's blatant. He's feeding into the advantage with this flopping and this nonsense. And I've always, as a football player myself, I hate dudes like that. I hate dudes like that who just don't want to win real. You can't just, you know what I'm saying? I got more respect for you. Put your shoulder down, right, or something like that. But to do that, I really have lost all respect for Pat Mahomes.
Could you ever imagine Josh Allen taking a flop?
Oh, exactly.
Could you imagine? I mean, Lamar. Hell no.
Yeah, so it's like this is, but they get the argument because they're running quarterbacks, right? But here's Pat Mahomes running around, and he doesn't get considered to be a running quarterback, and so we're gonna have to move on with the next topic. Obviously, we'll cover the games here. Obviously, Andrew called the Commanders upset versus the Lions. That was pretty crazy, I thought. Jalen Daniels is playing lights out and possibly one of the best rookie seasons ever. A lot of commentators are saying that, and we'll also get into the Buffalo Baltimore game. Drew, you have a moment. If you want to embellish more on that Philly game, Seth is listening. What else too? I mean, if that's your only take, is there anything else that you can break from this game? Rams had a chance to win it right there at the end.
No, I mean, like I said, dude, they haven't really played like super impressive football. Like they really haven't. But are they getting it done when they need to get it done? Yes, they are. And Saquon, I mean, dude, he's literally the heart and soul of that team. And time in and time out, everybody that knows in the stadium, he's gonna get the ball. But it doesn't matter, bro. Like the dude is on a whole different level right now. I literally can't remember when I've seen a running back take over a whole season like he has. Like he literally time in, time out, bails his team out every time, and it doesn't matter. Like I literally can't think of a running back that's done that in a really, really long time. Maybe the Todd Gurley, with the Rams, like in 2000 but that's like the last person I can think of. You're like that's literally led him to the promised land like that. I mean LT back in the days, but Chargers never really got deep in the playoffs. He's right there, man. Like hats off to Saquon, man. That this season is unprecedented.
What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give myself credit. When I saw him as a rookie, I said he's the best running back in the league. Now, it didn't manifest injuries and all that, but I was just like, I would take Saquon. Like he's the best running back in the league, and I looked wrong for 3 or 4 years. I looked wrong because after his rookie season, like Jake has, specified, on our other shows, like he got injured. He got like who knew he would do something like this? But it was the eye test for me. It was just, I remember watching him a little bit in college. I don't watch a lot of college, so I'll put that out there. I watched a little bit of it, but just seeing him run in the Giants as a rookie, I'm just like, this guy's different. He's different. Now, yes, you still got to go out there and prove it. So you had it. Then you put him on the Eagles, and he's showing you just how great he can be. I mean, he showed you with the Giants. He was just injured, and a lot of dysfunction there. But what I think goes underestimated, like what makes the difference between a good running back and a great running back, and it's one of the most. I mean, they talk about it, but they don't talk about it enough. In my mind, it's the one thing for me. It's not speed. It's not strength. It's not breaking tackles. It's none of that. It's vision. It's vision and the ability to set up the defense. And that's what he does. And I know they actually went into it a little bit on that play, but he's been doing this for a long time. So on that last play, he hits the hole and then sidesteps out, and then there's no one there. You think that's an easy hole to hit. I guarantee 9 out of 10 running backs run right into that linebacker, go up right into the middle of the hole, and they get 6 yards, which is a great run, and that's it. But he, instead of getting the 6 yards, his vision is just astronomical. I mean, there's other runs that they show. When they show from the quarterback view, like, it's just like, how did he see that? Like, he sets up the defense, and then he's just got one guy to beat. From our view, it seems like he's got this massive hole, and it's easy. But, like just on that one play where he did it, I mean, it just shows his vision is astronomical. Obviously, you got to have the side speed, the lateral movement, the speed to hit the hole and all that. So that's where his natural gifts come in, but it starts with the vision. He knows if I come up, take a side step out, the linebacker's already suckered in, I'm gone. I've seen other tape 22, and I'm just going to stick with the Raiders and something like, I know this is like blasphemy to even compare it to, but at the beginning of the year, I saw this tape on Zamir White, right? With our offensive line, like they were showing how Zamir White didn't do crap this year, right, guys? Like he didn't do nothing. And they're like, look at these plays. Like there was opportunity for him to hit this hole, or he ended up going left when he should have went right, and he should have went this one. So it wasn't because everybody was blaming the O-line, and then someone came out with the tape. Is like, it's not all the Raiders O-line, like Zamir White. And I only know because I'm a Raider fan. I'm just comparing it. So I'm like, vision matters as a running back. Doesn't matter if you have the talent. Vision matters. And Saquon, like Andrew said, everybody in the building knows he's getting the ball. Why doesn't
Yeah.
it matter? Is because I'm going to find the hole. You
Right.
know, so that I'll pass to you, Jake. It's incredible to see. I love it. Hey, go with what got you there. I said that at the beginning. Go with what got you there. We'll talk about the other games and what happened, but
Real
go with
quick,
what got you there. If you lose, hey, you can sleep at night.
What's up,
real
Vic?
quick, Jake, before I pass it to you, look at the world. Look at the million viewers. Drew is changing his Chiefs diaper right now. Chiefs diaper right now. Love it. No, Jake, go ahead, bud.
No, just to add, like, every time, like this year that you see Saquon, first off, I'm always blown away. I don't know if it's his fifth, sixth year in the league or whatever, but just how absolutely fast he is. Like when he gets, as soon as he makes his cut and goes, just it's like Saquon's not a small dude. Like this guy is yoked, and he flies. And it's like this is not somebody in their first, second, third year. Like he's been in the league, he's had all these injuries, and it just I can't, every time I've seen those plays where he hits these holes, he makes one cut, and he's gone. It's like I wonder what this guy's career would have looked like if he had gone to a team that gave him a chance to open up some holes, gave him a chance so we could see that vision and what he's like instead of the Giants where they had nothing else and he was just this
If he
target.
stays healthy, Jake, he's still got a chance. With those thighs that he's got, I think he could run for a long time, dog.
He has had some really freak injuries. Like I remember he missed, I don't know if it was 2 years ago, where he ended up stepping on his teammate's foot and rolled his ankle, and he had he's had some weird injuries too.
It's the giant juju, dude. Watch, he won't even get hurt with the Eagles. Like
But
he'll just be great, and the Giants fans are gonna be like, "How come he couldn't stay healthy with us?"
But like, could you imagine, like, had he gone to a team like the Lions or just any of these teams? Like, it's amazing in the NFL when you come out of college and you can have everything, but just where you go and land for those first 4 or 5 years sometimes dictates so much. And I'm glad to see that Saquon got out. Because he is, I think he's a hell of a leader. He's a great teammate. The dude works super hard. He's worked through a lot of injuries, and he did this for a franchise for a lot of years that was garbage. And I'm glad to see now that he's at a franchise and he's the centerpiece, and he's he's going to be, if they make it to the Super Bowl, like he's going to be the reason why.
The reason why Saquon Barkley was like my man crush fantasy wise this year, more so than like Derrick Henry, right? Because Derrick Henry too was it was hard not to love that situation. But with Saquon, obviously his talent, but let's not forget the trenches. That O-line is one of the best in the league with the Eagles, right? And so Lane Johnson, even with losing Jason Kelsey, that O-line was just in tandem for many, many years. And so to be behind that O-line, plus the counter of Jalen Hurts, who could take it anywhere, those lanes, like I said, with his speed and his vision, it's the perfect place for Saquon Barkley. And I really hope that I love what Josh Allen has done, but you can almost say that Saquon Barkley has an MVP status type of season because he was the one who was impactful towards that team to get them to the NFC Championship game. He basically did it on his own, Saquon Barkley. And so we haven't seen that in a while. I believe he's deserving of a MVP conversation, okay? But let's move on to the next one. Drew, you're the one that called this one, the Commanders versus the Lions. And now we got Ben Johnson leaving. So we can cover a couple of things here with this game. Holy shit, man. Why did you have so much confidence in this Commanders thing?
I think, like I said, at the end of the day, there's teams that are great teams, and I think the Lions are a great team. Don't get me wrong. I think their head coach. I think almost all of that roster is really legit. I was still a little worried on David Montgomery coming back if he was gonna be fully healthy or not. It seemed like he was fine. He seemed like he still got a good workload, but normally I worry about Jared Goff in road games. I don't worry about him at home games. But when it's high pressure situations and playoff football games, there's a different tier of quarterback. You know what I mean? There just is. Like we talk about the Lamar Jackson, the Josh Allen, the Mahomes, the Joe Burrow, and that's about it, right? And that tier. Everybody else outside of that, dude, it's like, oh well, let's see what they can do. Let's see how they perform. You saw with Justin Herbert, 4 interceptions. You saw with, I mean, this is why I say if the Niners play like Brock Purdy that much money, it wouldn't shock me because the quarterback play for a lot of teams isn't amazing, and I think that's why we're seeing the repeats of the Chiefs just being that much better over and over and over again because the quarterback play is getting to be less and less. Like back with the Brady era, like it was crazy because we had so many good quarterbacks. You had Breeze, you had Peyton Manning, you had Aaron Rodgers, you had this guy. You had so many good quarterbacks. Now it's like 2, 3 quarterbacks, and even like a lot of people will say, oh, well, when the pressure's on, Lamar Jackson fails. Right? I mean, that's been the hype. And Lamar Jackson's won the MVP, probably gonna be his third year already. And we can talk about that game later, but the throw that he made to Mark Andrews should have caught it, but he could have threw it a lot better. That's all I'm saying. But what comes to the Commanders game, Jaden Daniels is just a different person. Rookie quarterbacks, you don't have the most film on them. And if there's a chance to exploit, it's going to be normally your rookie year. There's a lot of different tendencies that rookies can do. There's a lot of different game plans that people haven't seen yet. I get it. We're 17 weeks in, 18 weeks in, 19 weeks in. But Jaden Daniels has different elements that people haven't seen on film yet. Same thing with C.J. Stroud last year. He looked great, right? And then towards the second year, it started slowing down a little bit. Jordan Love, first year, he looked great. This year, So it's like this first year where the rookie comes in right away, you're able to really dice up the league a lot. And if you have a good coordinator like the Commanders have in Kingsbury, he's using it. Like he's using it in all different ways. The RPOs, he's not afraid to throw the deep shot down the field. Jaden Daniels is looking like an absolute stud, bro.
Fantastic. And then obviously, Nick, Ben Johnson is signed as the head coach to the Bears. So what do you think that does for, I guess, the Lions, or I guess you could say what too about the game if you like?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously that's a smart move from him. It's pretty obvious. I mean, I lost hope once all these articles came out that the Raiders were getting steam. I'm like, we're never. The fact that we're a first option, I was like, why are you getting my hopes up? Like, why are you getting my hopes up? It's all just blow smoke up, where, just because. It was just for Ben Johnson could get more money with the Bears. That's all the hell it was. Everybody knew he was going there. It's an ideal situation. I don't blame him. It's smart. They have weapons. You got the quarterback there. He could elevate Goff, so you can assume he's going to elevate Caleb with his weapons. And you weakened your own divisional rival, right? You coming from the Lions division, like now they're going to be, you could say, take a step back because he's not there a little bit, anyways, and all that. So it's a good spot, and we'll see. I mean, I have no idea. He was number 1 on my list for the Raiders, so now it's just like I don't know who they're gonna get. It is what it is. I was kind of Ben Johnson or bust, so whoever they hire, I just gotta trust that he works out. But I was a Ben Johnson or bust with the Raiders. About the game, I have a little bit of a different perspective. I mean, the game kind of went exactly how I thought it was gonna go. I said the Lions would be able to push them around. The Lions did have 530 yards of total offense. And speaking of Ben Johnson, I don't want to put it on him because it's all hindsight stuff, and I know that. So just bear with me, guys. I know it's hindsight, but there's just a couple things that I thought were critical to the game. Again, hindsight. So I'm admitting to that. But the first sack fumble, they're up 7-3. It's 3rd-and-1. Yes, I'm not saying they've never thrown it on 3rd-and-1. So like I said, hindsight, right? But it's things like that in big games like this. Like it's 3rd-and-1. Like just go run the ball. You're in scoring position. Go. Like I feel like when you're the favorite, kind of like what the Chiefs do, kind of like what the Bills did with the Ravens. Like when you're like neck and neck with the team, or you're the favorite, whatever. You're just trying to not lose the game. It's
right.
Everybody talks about you lose more games than you win. Everybody knows that. Even in the playoffs, you lose more games than you win. So again, I don't want to put it on Ben Johnson. Nothing. It's all hindsight. But it's just like it was just the inconsistencies, the little things in the game. 3rd-and-1. I mean, you would just run the ball. They ran the ball all day on them, all day. Like the Washington could not stop the Lions. The Lions stopped themselves. That's it. Like Washington could not stop them at all. So 3rd and 1, you get the first sack fumble, then they go down and score a touchdown. So now you're down, instead of going up potentially 14-3, you're down 10-7. Like I thought that was a huge momentum swing. And then that's where Andrew's talking about. You put Goff in like, oh shit, we got a game. We're trailing. Like now I gotta throw the ball. Get a little bit more hype, more stress, and I think that's just how the game went. Put a little bit more pressure on Ben Johnson. I mean, I don't want to knock him on the trick play too. Everybody wants to knock him. They've been doing trick plays all year and they work. That one didn't work. I know he's gotten coached. If anything, it's on Jameson Williams. Like, I know 100%. I was in football. You get that play, it's like, hey, if it's not there, you just hold on to the ball. Like that I know that's said probably 100 times in the meeting. I know it. I don't know what he saw. That play was never there. He was covered from the beginning. It wasn't like he was open for a little bit and then they closed. Like he went with Jamar Gibbs the entire time. Like that play was never there. So again, we can say, oh, what are they calling? This like they've done it all year. You do what you do. Players got to make the plays. Golf, you got to hold on to the ball. You can't airmail a play. You can't but I think just little calls like that. I mean, Jamar Gibbs had 14 touches. Like, what are we doing? Like, he should have had 25. The way he was running in that game, like, I don't understand. But
well, I'm sorry, Jake. For the sake of time, we want to move on to the next game. You can cover a lot with this next two because we cover a little bit with the Chiefs. I'm sorry, with the Baltimore. A lot of people think it's Mark Andrews' fault. I don't know, but I want to say congratulations to Josh Allen to finally make it to another AFC Championship game. And then it's the big one. We got to preview the game versus the Chiefs. So go ahead, Jake, if we can move on to the next game.
Yeah, all I was going to add on to the other game was I think that the 18 defensive starters on injured reserve on IR for the Lions finally caught up to them. They caught an offense that was on fire. And like Nick said, I don't know why you don't run the ball more and keep the ball out of that offense's hand. But moving on, yeah, I was the Bills played the kind of game that the Bills have been winning with all year, and it was just grinded out, mistake-free football. And I think honestly the Ravens looked better. They ran the ball, they threw the ball. They had a few turnovers and they had a few honestly costly mistakes. If Mark Andrews catches that 2-point conversion and we go into overtime, I don't know where we're at. The Ravens offense was scary, but the Bills grind. I think they deserve to be where they're at. I think that, I know that considering he's in the MVP talk, this may sound a little ridiculous, but I still think it's really like underappreciated what Josh Allen has done with this team. And if you look at like his turn, like I forget where he's at with his interceptions all year now, but it's just going from where this guy was as a rookie, like a 50% completion rate and all that, to just now where we're at, it's really cool to see. And to have him, running this team. We talk about Saquon and how he's the heartbeat of this team and everything revolves around him. You're talking about a quarterback right now that is going through every obstacle, all season long with a receiver that isn't in the top 30 with, honestly, are we really that impressed with James Cook? I know he's had some games and all that, but it's like, somehow it's just the mistake-free football. I think for the most part, it's good play calling, but it's just Josh Allen being able to improvise in and out of the pocket, extend plays. It drives me nuts sometimes. I'm getting to a point like 3rd and 5. I'm just like, just put him in shotgun, put him in an option, and then just let him run. Nobody's going to stop this guy. But moving to next week, it's like I've been so invested in him and the Bills now for 5 years, and it's like this game is going to be so close. These teams are built so similar where it's like, they run the ball, they grind it out, they keep these long drives going, defense keeps them in the games and all that stuff. And I don't know what I'm going to do when it comes down to one call where it's like, it just, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Protect your walls.
But I hope that Josh Allen goes out there and just smashes these guys. My honest prediction for this game, I don't feel like the Bills have a pass rush that is going to be able to pressure Mahomes enough to make him make mistakes. You give Mahomes that little bit of time, and he finds a way to make something happen every time. And when he stopped, there's a flag. But the Bills just don't have the pass rush to really disrupt what Mahomes does. So the offense is going to have to figure out how to score against the Chiefs defense. They're not going to be able to use James Cook, the Chiefs D line and Jones and all that. They're not going to let you run all over the place. So Josh Allen's going to have to play a perfect game. And it's going to be intense, man. I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about it. But yeah, but the Ravens, I feel so bad for Lamar, dude, because the guy, honestly, like, to win 2 MVPs and all that, not still not get to the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know what happens to them in the playoffs. I don't know where it comes from. But it seems like they get away a lot of the times. Not so much this game, but just in the past, they get away from what's worked for them all season, running the ball and all that, and just the stupid mistakes. That's not the Ravens. That team that just grinds and they play clean football, and it's just a shame that Lamar, for the season that he's had, only has a divisional round loss to show for it.
Definitely is going to be the game of the year, I believe. The Bills versus the Chiefs. The whole world's going to be watching, and I really hope Josh Allen can do exactly what you're saying, Jake. Pull something out of his ass and just be that football player to win games. Never mind the penalties, never mind the advantage. Go out there, go play some football, and go win the game. That's what I'm looking forward to. Obviously, we got Philly versus Commanders, Drew, while you have a second. And so you've been on this Commanders train a little bit. Are they going to overcome the Eagles in the NFC Championship game? And Seth is listening.
I mean, I honestly, like, if I'm a betting man, I don't see it happening. On it, like, as a fan, yeah, of course I'm going for the Commanders. There's like no chance about it, like, for sure. But I don't know. I mean, they're in the division. They know each other. Excuse me. Sorry. They know each other very well. Philly really hasn't, or I'm sorry, Washington hasn't really been able to stop Saquon all year, and I don't see them doing so. Will it be? I think it'll be a close game for sure. I don't think it's going to be like a runaway game. When going back to like just to touch up on the Lamar Jackson situation, this honestly was the year that I really truly do feel like he kind of proved me wrong. Like, I've always kind of, like, when it comes down to, I even texted you guys on the group chat. I'm like, Lamar Jackson sucks when it's come down to the clutch. And I said, like, the thing that kind of drew me nuts was, like, you got that 3-minute drive. Derrick Henry was on the field one time. I get it. They still scored. Like, credit to Lamar. Like I'm saying, credit to Lamar Jackson. They scored on that. Because, like, if they didn't score, dude, you know how much talk they would have gotten on that? Like, that's where Lamar really has, like, elevated his game. Like, he's not throwing turnovers. He's making good throws. He's using his legs when he should be using his legs, not just because out of need. Like, Lamar's taken a lot of steps forward. But like I said, like, on that pass, on that, yes, he was wide open. Like, he should have caught in that ball. And I'm not saying, like, I'm not discrediting that was on Mark Andrews. But, dude, he could have made an easier throw. Like, he threw it behind him. And nobody's going to talk about that because it's the NFL, and you should catch that no matter what. But, bro, like, put it on a little more, and you're not going to drop that for sure. But at the end of the day, dude, like, it's probably not MVP year for him. It's just he doesn't have the weapons. It sucks. Zay Flowers was hurt, wasn't available, doesn't have a lot of stuff. Like, it's just him, and that's about it. And they need to try to go make him have some target, like some better weapons around him. The defense still isn't bad. As long as the Harbaugh is there, like, he's gonna be relevant. So it is what it is. But you got that three-headed monster over there in the AFC, dude. It's gonna be those guys almost every year for the next 5 to 10 years. It's either gonna be Pat, it's gonna be Josh, or it's gonna be Lamar, and it's like that's just the nature of the way it's gonna be. And it's not one of those guys. It's gonna.
Burrow.
And I'll say, if it's not one of those guys, you're gonna sprinkle in Burrow a little bit, and that's what it's gonna be. Like it's these guys are so still young in their careers, like they're not that old, and it's just gonna be a neck and neck race the whole time, and that's just the way it is. And the NFC, it's whoever has the most like dogfight, scrappiest team is gonna come through because that's just the way the NFC football kind of works. Like you're gonna have that scrappy team that might be able to challenge them, might not, and it's like. The AFC is still the king, dude, and it's gonna be that way for a while. I think NFC's got good talent, they got good people, but it's just when it comes down to it, the masterminds and the quarterback play in the AFC is just a little bit better, man. It just is.
Yeah. Well, look, to close it out, all of our predictions for Super Bowl has been scratched. We were all wrong for our predictions, and so we got 4 teams left. Let's close it out, Nick. Let's just go with who are the 2 teams are going to be in. What 2 teams are going to make it?
Yeah, real quick, 90% Mark Andrews fall in that game, by the way.
Okay.
It just because no one's talking about it. Before the Lamar Jackson fumble, Mark Andrews dropped the pass as well. I would have.
He was wide open.
That would have made it 2nd and 1. So would have been a different play call. Probably would have ran the ball.
He has some fault for sure.
And then the other fumble and the 2-point conversion. But I have to go Bills. Bills was in my Super Bowl pick, so I got to stick with them. I had Bills, Lions overtaken. So I'll stick with the Bills. And then I got Eagles. It's going to be Bills, Eagles, and it'll be fun.
Wow. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I'm going. I've been saying Bills, and you know, I gotta ride them out. You guys could see a Jake that you've never seen before, depending on how this game goes next week. I mean, I'm terrified of even meeting him, but I actually I think Washington's gonna pull it out. I really do. That offense is clicking, man, and I just feel like if they get on a roll and they start scoring like they've been. Saquon all you want. All you got to do is contain, make Jalen Hurts throw it, and let's see where that passing game's really at. Commanders look really, really good, man.
Drew?
I mean, I want the Commanders. So I want the Commanders to go there. I can't see a world where the Chiefs lose, dude. I'm sorry. Like, I know I don't want to see it, but it's probably going to happen. And I mean, if they lose in the Super Bowl, I'll still be happy. Like, I just don't want to see them raise the Super Bowl trophy up. I don't care. It's just
like when Peyton Manning got over the New England Patriots.
I don't care.
Josh Allen is finally going to do it.
Like, it just doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I just don't want to see Mahomes raise a trophy. That's it. I don't care if Jaden Daniels crowns in rookie season. I don't care. Just let me see him cry on the sideline, bro. Let me see him cry. That's it. Like, I don't want to see that fucking guy. I want to see Taylor Swift cry too. I'm tired of the shit. I'm tired of it, bro.
Amen.
Anybody but the Chiefs, I don't care.
Amen. I think we're going to see a Super Bowl repeat with the Eagles and Chiefs. I really hope we see a different outcome. Saquon Barkley deserves to be in that Super Bowl, and it'd be a little difference maker, I think, to have if the Chiefs had if the Eagles had Saquon Barkley in that Super Bowl, they would have won, I believe. And so let's hope, and that's what happens. But we'll see. Next week we'll be here, guys, live on Tuesday, covering the conference round, right? The AFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game. We will be here next week, guys, talking about it all and all the penalties that the Chiefs are going to get this weekend. So,
if the Eagles go to the Super Bowl, is Seth going to try to go again? Because I know Seth went to the last one.
I'm sure
that'll be something
cool.
to be. That'd be crazy if he went again. I mean, I don't know how you'd be able to afford it again, but if he does it, fucking A, bro.
Fine, yeah. But hopefully. So with that said, guys, thank you guys for being here this week. We'll be again here live next week at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, okay? So with that said, peace with the journey. And
peace.
One love.
Take care, fellas.
Nick, what if Mike McCarthy goes to the Raiders? The Jared Goff of head coaches.
I don't want it.
As long as Robert Saleh doesn't go, don't